As a result of the weakening of the Ottoman Empire and the influence of nationalistic ideas that originated from the French Revolution, nationalist movements started to spread among the minority groups in the Ottoman Empire. Ataturk was extra cautious with the Kurds, since the Kurds were geographically spread over a large area. In a Trojan manner, Ataturk sent out telegrams to a number of different Kurdish tribal leaders to gain their trust and support during the final battles against the Western occupiers and imperialists. Many of these tribal leaders knew Ataturk from before. The Turkish Ministry of History published these telegrams sent by Ataturk in the military for the first time in 1996. Ataturk's message to the Kurds was that of a religious one, in which he highlighted the importance of the Caliph and that the Kurds and Turks were brothers in faith. He also mentioned that future autonomy for the Kurds was highly relevant as soon as the threat from the imperialists was over. In the first telegram he sent in 1919, Ataturk explains that he has been chosen by our master, the Sultan, the noble Caliph, and that he would like to visit the Kurdish territories. While Ataturk was sending these telegrams, he initiated intelligence activities to find out where a possible Kurdish state would geographically be located. When he obtained that information, he sent a telegram to Qasim Cemil Pashazadeh, a highly respected man in Diyarbakir. Ataturk said that plans for an independent Kurdistan have been hijacked by the British in favor of the Armenians. Kurds and Turks, on the other hand, are true brothers and should not be divided. Our existence requires that Kurds, Turks, and all Muslim elements work together in order to defend our independence. And I am in favor of giving you all the rights and privileges so that I can secure our bond and also the prosperity and development of the Kurds on the condition that the Ottoman state is not divided. Ataturk also said that he thinks of Kurds and Turks as two brothers who firmly and hand in hand defend their holy unity. Ataturk continued back and forth with these telegrams until he ensured that influential Kurds were no longer interested in a nation state. On September 4, 1919, a congress was held in Sivas, where the goal was to unite against the last Western troops in Istanbul and other parts of the empire. The first article of the Sivas proclamation said, "All Islamic elements living in the above-mentioned territory, meaning the Ottoman Empire, are true brothers, whose relationship is imbued with mutual respect and sacrifice for one another, and who fully respect each other's ethnic, social, and local rights." When this problem of a Kurdish state was cleared out of the way, Ataturk showed his true intentions. However, his intentions would not be completely clear until the war was over. The plan was first to defeat the Western occupiers whom the Kurds fought, especially the Greek forces in the eastern part of the empire. The irony now in retrospect is that this religious war in which Kurds and other Muslim groups participated in is described as a Turkish war of independence. What followed the war itself would cement Ataturk's place as one of the most cunning traitors in world history. Martin van Brunissen, who is an anthropologist, has also written briefly about this issue. He also mentions that many Kurds gave heed to the call for Islamic Brotherhood, but that they were betrayed by Ataturk when he secularized the country. Brunissen writes, "The Kemalists tried to replace Islam with a Turkish-based nationalism as a unifying factor. Through this, they provoked a Kurdish nationalist reaction that they feared. Ataturk took immediate action when the imperialist states no longer posed a threat to the empire. The Islamic identity that was the foundation of the Ottoman society for more than 600 years would come to be crushed in a few years by Ataturk. More than 600 years of historical identity was erased and thrown in the trash. Although Ataturk was and is portrayed as an anti-imperialist in modern-day Turkey, he eventually cooperated with the Western states. Specifically, he collaborated with them in deconstructing the Islamic identity. In 1924, all Islamic laws were abolished. People were encouraged to imitate the Western countries, the same countries that ironically had occupied large parts of the empire in previous years. On December 8, 1925, the Ministry of Education issued a list of terms that were considered divisive. These terms included Kurd, Laz, Circassians, and Kurdistan. The same term that Ataturk called an unshakable part of the Ottoman Empire was now a term that ironically divided the country. These decisions, of course, caused irritation, which resulted in several bloody uprisings, such as the famous Sheikh Saidi Piran uprising of 1925, in which thousands of civilians were killed by Ataturk. With all this in mind, Ataturk is today described as an anti-imperialist, a man who fought for freedom when he in fact collaborated with the imperialists.